morning. Let me introduce myself. My initials are AA. I am making this recording because of one critical point: inaccessibility or lack of support for accessibility needs. It's important that this video I've created has a brief overview so that there could be an understanding of why it's taking such drastic measure for me to address this. I created a video on the 29th of July 2026. The reason why I created that was to document and hopefully illustrate the impact of certain decisions taken on an administrative level by the council. In that recording, I had stated that I will provide an example of activities undertaken by the council and how it impacts or could potentially impact other people who live with certain disability or who have certain accessibility needs and need additional support. And I make this an emphatic focal point of why I'm doing this is that the records recorded by councils is often inaccurate, and that jeopardizes the safe place for these people with accessibility needs. I'm going to illustrate a particular incident, just a snapshot of an incident in time. And I hope you understand what I mean when you listen to what I have described. These are incidents that actually took place, and I would like to discuss the impact they had on me due to the inaccuracies of the records, the unfairness of it, and for the council itself to make its own judgment. I need to pinpoint, give you a list of three things. One, I am on the autistic spectrum. Two, my qualifications and profession is in information management. I also work as a librarian. And three, I have been unemployed since 2018 due to a lot of ambiguities with my healthcare. And these are very important background issues on why I talk about accessibility and how these issues have been used against me based on what an officer told my daughter. And tied into this is one thing that I would call a blessing, apart from being an informational professional who lives with a myriad of health conditions. I live in a time whereby AI has made it feasible, has made accessibility of the voice of those who can't speak clear. Without ChatGPT, without AI tools, I would not have been able to gather my thoughts in order to put a case forward for myself. All processes that are in place, which I label under the black and white syndrome, don't seem to work. Places are signposted to deal with issues, but they don't. I am a living proof of that. And I'm hoping that by sharing this with somebody in the council, you can see how unsupportive the council is in supporting the needs of certain individuals. This video I'm creating, I am going to post it online under an unlisted tagging so that anybody that has access to it will have access via invitation only. I think I have spent nearly 4 or 5 years trying to get somebody to do the right thing, and it has not happened. So based on that, I created the 29th of July video as a starting point. And in my next video, I will give you an example of the difficulties that I face. Good evening. My initials are AA, and the first thing I would like you to do is forgive the dark glasses. I will explain that in a nutshell. I'm autistic, and I'm recording this at night, and I have to have my lamp on, which can give me a migraine, or it's very uncomfortable for me. Today is the 29th of July 2026, and I'm making this recording today because there are times when you have to take drastic actions when things are happening beyond your control. This complaint is for my local council, and I'll be sending it to the signposted people in authority. So I will start, first of all, by reading something that I wrote. This is a formal complaint statement, and I would appreciate it if it's investigated. I have tried every avenue, every signposted organization, individual that a resident of this borough is supposed to approach when they have an issue, and it's never been resolved. So Tower Hamlets Council Housing Repairs Access Record Keeping Discrimination and the Impact on Me since 2022. I will explain why I'm making this recording. I am making this recording because I have certain accessibility needs that when I do approach people or talk to people, I am being perceived as aggressive, I'm misunderstood and misaligned. And I felt that this would be the best way for anybody to listen to my complaint and make a fair judgment. In my email to whoever is concerned, I will give you my address and my name. I am a secure tenant of this borough in London. What has prompted me to make this recording is something extremely serious that was recently reported to me by my daughter, and that is what culminated in this. She approached me and informed me that she had contacted this borough's housing officer to seek information concerning her options of housing, as this has been her home from the day she was born. She's always lived here. And one feedback that she got, that she was told by this officer, was that because I had made complaints about the housing and repairs department in the past, and because of my mental health condition, no matter what I reported, certain services within this borough would not take me seriously. This statement was given to my daughter this week. I find this statement deeply disturbing. So that is why I'm bringing it to you by this avenue. I have written, I have complained, and nothing has been done except the total withdrawal of equitable services. I am asking this borough and the council to formally investigate whether this statement was made in jest, by whom, and why, and what context, and whether it reflects information, attitudes, and instructions that have been recorded or communicated internally within the borough about me. If what was communicated to my daughter accurately reflects how I am being regarded within the council services, it potentially provides important context for what I have experienced over the past 6 years. It raises a fundamental question. Have my legitimate repairs requests, safeguarding concerns, been treated less seriously because I complained about a particular issue to the council, or because of perceptions concerning my mental health? This question requires a formal answer. A resident's mental health or whatever disabilities history should never be used to undermine their credibility. Neither should exercising the right to complain result in a resident subsequently being dismissed, disbelieved, or treated as troublesome. And this has been stated by another councilman that I'm troublesome. If my complaints have resulted in information being circulated that influences how other departments, officers, and contractors respond to me, I want to know. And that's why I'm putting this request to you. If my mental health information has been accessed, recorded, discussed, or disclosed in connection with decisions about the credibility of my housing reports, I also want the council to explain what information was used, where it got its information from, who had access to it, how it was processed, and the lawful basis for doing so. This obligation and this allegation has caused me to reconsider many of the experiences I've had with the borough since approximately 2022. I have been a resident here since 1992. Incidents that I had previously tried to understand individually now need to be examined together. I have experienced repeated difficulties involving repairs, contractors, access requests to my home, unexpected visits, disputed appointments, communication, record keeping, and attempts to obtain straightforward confirmation about who has been authorized to enter my home from the council. I have had numerous third party entities claiming they are from the council, and I have requested confirmation of validation from the council if they had sent these individuals. Never once has this been acknowledged. I'm talking about over a period of nearly 6 years. I did not complain in order to be difficult. Something was wrong. And that's why I complained. I complained because I believed something had to be done. Yes, I'm now confronted with an allegation that the very act of complaining, combined with perceptions about my mental health, may have resulted in my reports no longer being taken seriously. This is why this complaint can no longer be considered simply a complaint about outstanding repairs. It has also, it is now also about how I have been treated as a resident, how information about me has been used, whether my credibility has been unfairly undermined, and whether my previous complaints have been influenced the service I subsequently requested or received. I therefore want the council investigation to consider the entire pattern of events since 2022 to the present, including my repairs history, access, online access, data protection rights, data protection infringements, accessibility needs, request, and lack of, the contractor's attendance complaints, internal records, and communication between departments. I am also requesting that the council preserve all relevant records, including emails, housing notes, repair records, complaint records, contractor communication, internal correspondence, and any records referring to my mental health complaints and credibility behavior access, as this was one of the points raised by this officer that my behavior was unacceptable. Access arrangements are done haphazardly without any notification, and people appear at my door, bypass the main security door, and come straight to my door to request access. And an incorrect recording of my unwillingness to provide access for repairs. This recording explains why I believe that a review is necessary. This did not begin with one incident. As I said, I have been a resident since 1992. These concerns go back to a particular incident regarding, I believe, a Tower Hamlets employee member who lives in this building, or I'm not too sure. And this began approximately 2022. And I will also make another recording about that incident, and I have all the evidence at hand. What began as requests for repairs has over several years developed into something I experience as persistent pressure, intimidation, and bullying. I want the council to investigate the pattern as a whole rather than continue to treat each incident as an isolated repair and access problem. I have repeatedly asked for something very simple. Tell me who is coming to my home, why they are coming, what repairs they are carrying out, when they are coming, and provide a reference that I can verify via the, excuse me. Sorry, I had to wipe my face, it's quite hot. Provide a reference number that I can verify against the council's residence portal. This should not be seen as an unreasonable request. Most importantly, I want this recording to establish one point from the onset. I have never refused repairs. What I have done is asked for safe, properly notified, and verifiable access to my home and who requested it. These are two very different things. I would also like to add discrimination and inappropriate use or disclosure of personal information to the matters you formally ask the council to investigate later has to be taken seriously, because all my private data information is scattered across differentiated third-party agencies that I have no control over. So for this reason, I will leave this to you. And in my next video, which is ready, will list the incident that happened and why it happened in 2022 and all the issues I've been dealing with since then. I have attempted to address these issues via the avenues that residents can complain. I have never received a concrete response. I am very concerned about my safety because I do believe it is very concerning if a housing officer can make such a statement to a family member of a resident so easily. That's put a lot of fear into me, a lot of safeguarding issue. And tomorrow I will talk about three specific incidents that happened this week to illustrate my point. So once again, I'll leave you. My initials are AA. Today is the 29th of July, 2026.